Well, we will very shortly get the men's presentation ceremony underway. And the cheers for the achievement today of the Berlin champion surely have to be amongst the loudest ever heard at one of the Abbott World Marathon major races. This was, just to remind you, the first race of Series 12 for the Abbott World Marathon Major Series. It's a member group, the World Marathon Major Races. But the series lasts 7 races. Berlin today starts Series 12 and it will finish Series 12 in terms of the scoring for the athletes. Each of these men has scored good points. Eliud Kipchoge to the right of the picture there, looking fully recovered. All 3 of them in pretty good shape, including this man in 3rd place, 36-year-old Wilson Kipsang. His time, 2 hours, 6 minutes and 48 seconds in his 21st marathon. He yet again goes a long, long way under 2:10. He's already a legend. He's 4 times he's broken 2:04, 8 times he's broken 2:05. Nobody else in history can boast that. He was 4th at the World Championships here back in 2009. So that, in effect, was actually his Berlin Marathon debut on a multi-lap course at those World Championships, 9 years ago. But he enjoyed this one today. I suspect deep down inside he surprised himself a little bit with how well he rallied, and he really maximised his potential here today. He was a late starter at the age of 20, and he's hanging on pretty well, isn't he, Wilson Kipsang? 3rd today, 1 place behind this young man. A happy birthday to Amos Kipruto of Kenya. It was a 1-2-3 in the men's race for Kenya indeed. His time, 2 hours, 6 minutes and 23 seconds. 40 seconds slower than his personal best from 5 years ago in Amsterdam, but an improvement by 10 seconds on his 2018 best. He was 3rd in Tokyo back in February, 2nd today in Berlin. It's been a fabulous run by this athlete who can boast good speed. He has a 60-minute 24 personal best for the half marathon. No track pedigree. Amos Kipruto is one of that generation of young Kenyans who has stepped straight onto the roads. The financial rewards massively outweigh those available for a solid track performer, even at world class. Well, speaking of world class, let's call him now not only world class, not only the retaining champion of Berlin, but the world record holder. Eliud Kipchoge, at the age of 33, is at last atop the pile with the letters WR beside his name. 2 hours, 1 minute and 39 seconds. A monstrous improvement of 1 minute and 18 seconds on Dennis Kmeta's 4-year-old world record. His halves were 61.06 and 60.34, almost superhuman, that second half of his Berlin journey today. He averaged 252.9 per kilometre. For each 10-kilometre segment, listen to this, he averaged 28.49. And for those of you who love a few stats, his half marathon average for each of the 2 halves today, 60 minutes and 49 seconds. It was quite simply breathtaking. And he, in truly superhuman style, had plenty of energy left to celebrate after the race with his coach, with the throng behind the finish line, and then with the crowds. He almost looks like he'd do it all over again, doesn't he? Records, of course, are made to be broken. The medals, well, they last forever. He has a World Championship gold from 15 years ago at 5,000 metres. He has an Olympic gold medal from Rio just over 2 years ago. Those will never be taken from him. This record one day will be improved, but I strongly suspect, as we hear the Kenyan national anthem, this record will last for a long, long time, unless he improves it himself.
Congratulations to Eliud Kipchoge. De 11e wereldrecord der hier in Berlin gelaufen wordt.
Well, that performance from Eliud Kipchoge, the win in a new world record by well over a minute, should be on the front page of every significant journal around the world tomorrow. I'm sure it won't be. This is sport, it's not life and death. But nonetheless, it is a huge moment in the annals of endurance sport. And it's hard to think of anything quite as majestic as this performance today, Chris. Paula Radcliffe's win in 2003 on the female side in London in that world record 2:15.25, a time which you rightly said is still unapproached, is probably equivalent to this, if not better, because nobody's come within 2 minutes of it. But nonetheless, Kipchoge here today has done something which, if you look at other endurance sports, cycling and triathlon and swimming, it's really hard to think of something that compares.
It's been a real privilege, hasn't it? Really has, to have witnessed some genuine history here. It's hard to see, apart from Kipchoge himself, who could begin to challenge that mark. And if you look at the top three, we've been giving you the results. I mean, second place, 5 minutes behind. That was the winning margin today. 5 minutes, for goodness sake.
There it is, 4 minutes 44 behind, nearly 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
And I think one of the reasons that I believe that this will be a tough record to improve upon, unless he does it himself in the next couple of years, is that Kipchoge is the complete rounded runner. He's got it all. He's got speed, he's got strength, he's got endurance in both those areas. He's got wonderful poise. He's a classical build for a marathon runner. He's relatively small in stature and yet wonderfully proportioned, wonderful musculature, great mentality, has that calmness, that sort of Zen Buddhist calmness.
Yes, and the work ethic, of course, to go with it, and the humility. We've mentioned that before. He's from a farming background, as many of the Kenyan elites are. He leads a pretty simple life up at Eldoret there with his wife and family, and utterly dedicated to getting better and better. And just interesting reading some of the quotes from his agent, Valentin, who was saying that actually Eliud is still learning about the distance. He's still learning, and that was, for me, actually quite telling in reading that a couple of days before this race, because actually he was already, as we said right at the top of the program, he was already the greatest marathon runner we've ever seen on the male side. And if the greatest marathon runner ever to have lived is still learning about the event, my goodness. And so it proved today.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. So this was his 11th marathon, if we discount the sub-2 event in Monza back in May 2017. How many more good marathons has he got in him? You know, I think you're probably hitting your peak. I know it's easy to say he's still learning about the race, but what could you have taught him today? What could he have learned today? Has he found anything out about himself today that he didn't already know, or did he just apply what he already knew? And speaking of that Monza race, I wonder whether now, if he went back to that situation, he wouldn't break 2 hours. It was a very contrived setup, of course, in Monza on that Formula One race circuit in Italy, where they did multi-laps on a very flat surface and with pacemakers coming in and dropping out and coming in and dropping out. And it broke the rules in several different ways. But I suspect if Eliud Kipchoge today had gone through that sub-2 scenario, he might have gone sub-2.